We have the tech to get food delivered in 15 minutes, but we all have horror stories about buying tickets. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage. Get amazing tickets in just a few taps. Fees are included, so what you see is what you pay. And the Game Time guarantee means authentic tickets at the best price every time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets to concerts, sports, comedy, and more with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply.
In business, there's no room for guesswork. Every shipment matters. Every deadline counts. When you're trying to keep operations running smoothly, the last thing you need is uncertainty. That's why reliability is at the core of USPS Ground Advantage. From the moment your package is first scanned in, it moves through a secure nationwide network, aiding in a timely and accurate delivery. You get near real-time tracking so you can keep up with your shipments. And with affordable upfront pricing, there are no hidden fees or surprise surcharges to throw off your cost sheets. It all adds up to predictable deliveries you can depend on. Because knowing your logistics are handled lets you focus on everything else: your customers, your team, and the future you're building. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to start shipping with confidence. USPS, official shipping sponsor of the NHL.
This is Money Moves on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
All right, everybody, we are getting it going on a Thursday edition of Money Moves, live from downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel, holding it down with you for the next 2 hours. And JVT, I'm dressed for the occasion. We are green jacket ready, my friend. Masters underway.
It's not the proper shade of green, though.
I don't
it's
have
a little bit more Lincoln-y, forest green type.
Yeah, I don't have the vibrant green. I don't have a lot of that in the closet. Do you?
I don't have. I have a green. Actually, I have two green things. Both of them are hoodies, though. One of them's kind of like a split pea type green, so it's not really great. The other is a very bright and vibrant Dragon Ball Z green hoodie, which I feel like would probably not be allowed to be worn on the air.
Maybe not today. Maybe not today. Although I believe for your VSiN by the Books hit earlier today, you were supposed to wear green, or you thought you were going to wear green.
You quite misunderstood my story. I also did not present it that way.
JVT forgot today was the start of the Masters,
even though I was watching it on the way.
Even though he watched it today. So
no,
that's,
I thought just never mind. It was just look. I do the hit at 4:30 in the morning our time yesterday. I got confused with the time. Either way, I'm locked in.
I see. We also have plenty of baseball already underway. We got 3 games going on right now. The Marlins currently with a 5-1 advantage over the Reds in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Finally, huh?
Scoreless in both the A's and Yankees and Tigers Twins. What do you say? Finally?
Because I've taken my shots against the Reds in this series twice, and both times the Reds have pulled it off late, and so now the Marlins decide.
Did you bet them this morning?
No, of course not.
Come on.
So today, when I wash my hands with the Miami Marlins, they decide to show up. Hopefully they blow it, though. We will see if that's the case. They got bet down a little bit depending on where you look. They were as high as -135 here and closed at -118. So there was some Reds action today, albeit it seems not in the right direction.
Total potentially in the balance, though, was bet up from 7.5 to 8. So we're sitting at that 6 right now in the 6th inning. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll keep tabs on all of it as we go. Also, speaking of the betting market moving, the Yankees were bet out already a big favorite from -183, though, to -225 around closing. Run total in that one, 8 as well. And as for Tigers Twins, we're in the top of the 2nd there. Tigers were your closing favorite around -135. Okay, we got 6 games in all today, so still 3 more that we will preview throughout the course of the day, none of which in our window live, unfortunately, but we'll keep tabs and update you with some of the live betting lines as we go here, and a lot that we are going to dive into. So let's set the table. Time to run it down.
It's time for the top headlines and topics of the day. This is The Rundown.
I feel like you've got to be excited to talk some NBA today, JVT, because we are getting closer to Sunday, which will be the final day of the NBA's regular season. And with that, some games with big bracket implications today.
Yes, indeed. It was on Harbor Handicappers. That is out now, so you can check that out as part of my weekly spot. Some big, hefty contests, including, I guess you could technically call it a finals preview between the 76ers and the Houston Rockets, which both teams have a lot on the line. We also have some other games that don't really mean too much, but it is a decent NBA card. And how about this? Last look, unless there's been an injury update, no double-digit favorites today.
Ooh, one of the 2 20-plus point favorites yesterday covered, so we did get one of those come through if you parlayed it. Unfortunate result from that standpoint. And as the NBA regular season nears an end, as does the NHL, we'll dive into today's slate numerous times. We got 14 games. I'll give you my thoughts. Very excited to have Josh Ingles of Covers.com give some of his perspective as well on the card. It is the debut of Pete DeBoer behind the bench for the New York Islanders today, taking on the lowly Maple Leafs. They are big favorites to get the new coach bump today. We'll see if there are some angles we can get into with that one. Also, the one first round matchup that we do have firmly set in the Wild and Stars. Get a little first round preview there. And still home ice to be determined in that series. So that, among others, a handful of really intriguing games in the NHL that we'll delve into.
That's 100% locked in?
Stars,
like they're
Wild.
going to play, it just depends.
They're going to play each other. We just don't know who's going to have home ice. Also, as we mentioned off the top, Masters underway. We are going to update you, hopefully not in too distracted a fashion throughout the course of the day.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not even already looking at the camera. I mean, maybe we could bump the screen over one or something like that so we can keep an eye on it and I can maintain my focus. That was one of the big criticisms of our boss, Steve Cohen. It was that I didn't look at you enough or the camera. The TV's over here.
When the Guardians were on and we had you and Adam both in studio the other day, no one looked at me. Everybody's looking at the TV.
I had Noah Cameron, and I mean, it's the Guardians for Adam. So, look, I would say that we're working, but.
Yeah. In terms of where the leaderboard is at right now, Sam Burns leading the way through 5 under for the day through 16, so almost done. As far as things sit right now, Patrick Reed in second at 4 under. He became just the second player in Masters history to eagle 2 of his first 9 holes of the tournament. And you see Shane Lowry up there, T3, although there was a moment early on in the tournament today where we thought, oh, this could be a long day for Shane. 4th hole, looks like a pretty easy putt from 3 feet out and
3 putted from 3 feet out.
Ends up with a double bogey.
Yeah. Not particularly great. Watching DeChambeau right now to see what he's got. He's had a tough day too. He is 3 over. He's approaching the green right now, wherever he's at. But Shane Lowry, if you look at him so far today, pretty positive across the board. He has gained strokes in every aspect around the green, approach off the tee, tee to green. But there's one big red blemish, strokes gained putting so far for Shane Lowry. That's all because of that hole. He has lost 0.9 strokes because of it. So he'll bounce back as he already has through 14 and has made his way back up. I am somewhat upset with my guy, Tommy Fleetwood. Fairway Jesus got off to a great start. Apt name at the beginning of his round. Hit the fairway 100% of the time to the first 5, I believe it was. Kind of got a little shaky down the stretch, but still he is right now 3 under, I believe, for the tournament after a couple of bogeys.
As for Shane Lowry, though, just to say his last 8 holes, 2 birdies and an eagle. So everything else par from there. So he has been able to work out the kinks, find a little bit more consistency in his game.
Just glad we're able to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a new world that we have here in studio.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the PGA. Burying all this nonsense half the time. Having to find different streams. I had to watch holes 4, 5, and 6 this morning for like an hour.
Yeah, because they have the mix up for anybody who doesn't know. Obviously, as you get into the weekend, you have the CBS primary broadcast, but you have ESPN Plus doing the specific holes that you can do midway through the morning. Amazon Prime has their portion of the feed. It's kind of all over the place. Yep. That said, we talked about this yesterday at the end of the show. I was still debating what I wanted to do. I did end up firing on some bets late last night. I ended up adding DeChambeau, Xander Schauffele, Minwoo Lee, and Justin Rose. Rose just teed off a little bit ago, birdied the first hole, so we'll see if he can do okay. Schauffele in good position so far. Rough start for DeChambeau. T59 at last check, plus 3 over. And obviously he had the heartbreak last year, plays in that final round, but falls apart. Can he get back there? I mean, 10th time at the Masters. We talk about the course familiarity. Obviously, he's had it, finished top 10 back-to-back years, so a slow start, but can he kind of build on it here a little bit? I'm excited. I know with Schauffele, I told you yesterday that I was likely going to end up on a bet with him just for the, being an Aztec brethren type of a thing, but it doesn't hurt that he's also a regular on the first page of the leaderboard and has had a lot of success here. I know in 2022 he didn't make the cut, but every other time he's had a pretty solid footing.
Yeah. Watching Goddard up right now, see if he can get out of the sand. Wes had a really good point, Wes Reynolds, about how penalizing the sand can be here, even though there's not that much. So we'll see if Goddard up on his second stroke on a par 3 can get out of this.
And don't forget, we cannot call this a sand trap. It is a bunker at the Masters. They are very specific about, like you can't say, what is it? You can't say fans, it's patrons. You can't say driving range. It's tournament practice area. There's a handful of very specific verbiage items that they give the broadcasters that you can't say. Other rules as well already having been broken. You see the what's his name? Mark Calvecchia?
Nothing.
Calcavecchia, excuse me. But he's like a major champion, gets kicked off of the course yesterday for having his phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that. I know that they don't have the phones
He's
out there.
finished runner-up at the Masters before. He's won multiple events on tour back in the day, and he gets kicked out.
I did not see that. I knew that you couldn't have your phone out there. Matt Brown had mentioned that before, that they had to give away his phone and then you get to go out there. But the problem is, I guess, for the patrons is that you can't really track what's going on while you're out there. So like not having your phone is kind of tough because the scoreboards aren't really plentiful. So I feel like you got to work on that.
I feel like we're so beholden to devices nowadays that are you not?
Who cares? You're all the same thing. People do the same. Oh, we're so beholden. Yeah, but you're not changing the way that you live your life.
No, but
you're
it's
still doing the same thing all the time.
I think it's nice, like
to live in the moment. To be around people who aren't on their devices all the time.
To watch this event, though, and not see every single person that's at the green with their phone out recording and actually just sitting there and watching it, I think is a nice change of pace from what we've had historically. I know you're trying to just like be different.
I'm not trying to be different. Nobody cares. If you all cared, then you wouldn't be on your devices.
It's like the people that quit social media for a month and they write a whole post of like, I'm going to take a break from whatever. Just take the break from it. I think it's a positive thing.
Your boy Schauffele's got about a 15-foot putt for par coming up.
Come on, boy. Remind me who all you had bets on?
Tommy,
in addition to Fleetwood?
Yeah, Tommy Fleetwood, who's our guy? John Rahm, that's my short shot for the tournament here. Sorry, let me pull this up really
Worth
quickly,
noting, while you're looking that up, in addition to all the outrights that I bet, I did top 10s on DeChambeau and Schauffele and top 20s as well on Min Woo Lee and Justin Rose. So when I have the outrights, if I think I feel confident in them, I like to dovetail into the derivative markets as well.
John Rahm, Tommy Fleetwood, Colin Morikawa, he's one over for the day. Jordan Spieth and Chris Gotterup. There we go, right there. Okay. How about that? Look at our crew having it ready to go.
Also, where's Rory right now? Has he kind of fallen back a little? Nope. So T8 right now, 2 under. I think the story in general of Mason Howell, who's the U.S. amateur champion, and obviously like every year you get to play with the defending champion, but they aired this awesome story on ESPN over the last couple days about how he has idolized Rory his entire life. He went to a major event when he was a little kid and was just so excited to have his hand as an opportunity to potentially like get to have a high five from Rory and ended up giving him a ball. It was an event that Rory ended up winning. He's tried to create so much of his game in Rory's likeness. And so for them to get to play together is pretty cool. Though not obviously the best start for the U.S. amateur champ, but that's to be expected at Augusta National. It's very rare that we have a showing like we did. Was it last year, where first round, you're feeling pretty darn confident at the end of that thing. Yep. That said, we got to step aside here. We're just getting started. We will keep tabs on all things Masters as we go. Continue to update you, as we said, on all of the MLB scoring and live betting opportunities there. But so much more still to get into. When we come back, we're going to shift gears and dive into a little talk about the association. Stick around.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools. But what they don't want you to know is that you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. VSiN Pro gives you access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Just tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
We have the tech to get food delivered in 15 minutes, but we all have horror stories about buying tickets. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage. Get amazing tickets in just a few taps. Fees are included, so what you see is what you pay. And the Game Time guarantee means authentic tickets at the best price every time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets to concerts, sports, comedy, and more with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Guys, we've got a great for you as we welcome you back here to Money Moves. Right now, if you go over to vsin.com, you can completely free, no subscription needed, get access to so much content. Our MLB and NBA prop projections right now, powered by Opta AI, plus real-time betting splits from both DraftKings and Circa, available for free. Pro-level tools, no cost, but it's just for a limited time, so go check them out while you can. Head over to vsin.com today and start using them. Again, that's vsin.com. And speaking of which, good opportunity today, 6-game slate in the NBA. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you. We will dive into, obviously, all of the games today, some injury report updates to give you as well. But there were some interesting results yesterday, I think, that warrant some takeaway discussion here quickly. The Thunder, for one, JVT, end up clinching the top record in the NBA and top seed. Third straight season now. They've done that in the Western Conference. 128-110 win over your Clippers. RIP, sorry about that. OKC, looking at their futures numbers, it's wild.
Yep.
Plus 120 to win the title. They're minus 145 to win the West. Is this the
No.
OKC Invitational Part 2? No?
I don't think so because, as we said the other day, the Denver Nuggets are coming. So I don't think
10th
that
straight win yesterday.
They are. Like I said,
I mean, they were big favorites to do so. But.
They were, but this team continues to, I think, show that they're a legitimate threat here in this conference overall. Jokic has been playing. It's almost like some FU ball for the most part. I told that to Zach this morning.
I like that.
Because, for a while, we didn't talk about him. He sets such lofty standards. And yet we don't really still regard him as great. Yeah. We were still talking about Wemby. We were talking about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, rightfully so. But yesterday, again, with a pretty solid performance, 14 points and only 16 rebounds and 10 assists in that game, and plus 24 in a game.
In 3 quarters.
Yep, in 3 quarters. So, the guy is absolutely fantastic. The team's starting to get healthy. You look at, and one great point here is Cam Johnson has really come along strong here down the stretch. In this month, he's averaging about 17.8 points, shooting 45% from 3, 60% from the floor. So if Johnson's going to fill his role the way they expected when they traded for him, they're healthy now outside of Peyton Watson. This is a team that's going to be legitimately dangerous. You can still get him in the range of plus 850. Look around. There's some 10-to-1s potentially still available. I was looking a couple of days ago, but I will continue to say that they're the team that could make this so that it is not the OKC Invitational in the Western Conference.
Speaking to just what Jokic has been able to do, as I was prepping the show earlier this morning, I see a headline on ESPN that they're having the conversation following last night's game, and the ticker says, "Is Jokic's season underappreciated?" Yeah. And I mean, same thing too, even earlier this morning, listening or seeing the tweet from Dave Ross talking about if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was the one that had 3 MVPs and Jokic had 1, who would be the favorite right now in the market? And I think it's an interesting discussion. His 34th triple-double yesterday, 2nd straight year he's reached that mark. He's in a tie with himself and Russell Westbrook for the 4th most triple-doubles in a single season ever, leads the league in both rebounds and assists, 8th in the league in points per game. It's special what this guy does, and he makes it look easy.
Well, so speaking of the Westbrook thing, so the total triple-doubles, yes. Yesterday, though, was his 89th career triple-double through 3 quarters.
Yes,
Russell Westbrook has 59.
Crazy.
He's in second place. So he has 30 more than the second place guy for triple doubles through 3 quarters.
Also, with you calling your shot earlier this week about them beating the Spurs in the second round, Spurs 18-2 their last 20, both losses too.
Yep.
The aforementioned Denver Nuggets. No Wemby yesterday. The belief, though, reportedly is that he will hit the 65-game threshold and play at least one of these games.
Yeah, we got to play. So Sham's report yesterday was that they're
coincidentally, they'll play Denver in the last game of the season, too.
They will. So maybe that's something. Who knows? I mean, Denver, again, their quest right now, which ties into the game later tonight for the Los Angeles Lakers. But Denver's quest right now is to lock up the 3 seed and try to, I guess you can call it, avoid OKC until the Western Conference Finals and stay in that side because it's better, I think, if you want to sit here and play a team like Minnesota potentially might be banged up. We'll see what Anthony Edwards' status is as we move forward. That knee continues to be problematic, but they're going to have a week off before the playoff series starts. So either way, I think you want to stay on the side with the inexperienced Spurs that would be your second round opponent should you beat Minnesota.
From an Eastern Conference perspective, Hawks yesterday missed a chance to clinch a playoff spot with one more win. Cavs hold on to beat them. Donovan Mitchell ultimately does end up playing. Cavs now half game back of the Knicks for the 3 seed with 2 games left. Important game today, Knicks and Celtics, to dovetail off of that. Celtics right now plus 160. Favorites to ultimately win the East. Cavs plus 360, Knicks plus 425, top seed Pistons at 5-1. We did see Cade Cunningham return to the court after the collapsed lung issue that he had as well yesterday. Good day, 13 points, 10 assists, 5 boards. Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
they were the
I
one
was
that
being
they were. Oh
sarcastic,
yeah, sorry.
yes.
Denver didn't. They did. Denver still won by 17. mind you.
137-111 win over the Milwaukee Bucks. Very pathetic performance from Milwaukee.
So you and I were talking though a little bit about the Boston Celtics and their situation that they're in today. They can officially clinch the 2 seed in the East should they have a win. But a lot of injuries of note as well coming into this one for them.
Jaylen Brown officially out. We're waiting for the status of Derek White. Hauser's going to play him. We're waiting for Nehemias Queta as well. But White's going to be the most impactful of those two that we're waiting for the status of. But it might just be a solo Tatum game. And even then, maybe you just play him a little bit here. Yes, you need to win to clinch. And the easiest way to do it is beat the team that you're trying to clinch the seed ahead of, which would be the New York Knicks. And the Knicks, of course, have plenty of motivation here as well. And we're in that territory where maybe motivation is priced in a little too much for some of these games, a la Week 18 in the National Football League, where a team rests some guys while the other has plenty to play for, and you see this really loaded line. But Celtics up by 3 games here. A win would clinch that 2 seed for them. Knicks are trying to, you would think, avoid slipping to 4. We'll see. It's always interesting to see.
It seems likely though, no? Based on the remaining schedule?
For the Knicks?
So they've got Boston tonight, Toronto Friday, Hornets Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Cavs, meanwhile, have the Hawks Friday and the Wizards Sunday.
Yeah. So it would seem they did just beat the Hawks. So maybe you get the baseball series bounce back where the Hawks get a little bit of revenge. Who knows for Cleveland? But to your point, Boston, Toronto, Charlotte, in theory, all have something to play for. Boston can clinch today. Toronto trying to avoid slipping into the play-in and solidifying their spot. And, of course, we know Charlotte wants to get out of the play-in, still not mathematically eliminated from getting into the top 6 and avoiding that altogether. So, to your point, yes, the Knicks' schedule down the stretch is pretty difficult. And with only a half-game lead over Cleveland, they only have 2 against some lesser opponents. One would think that they are destined to sit there and play it. But who knows? I mean, maybe Cleveland's content with sitting in the 4. Maybe they play a little gamesmanship here and they want to play Detroit in a second round series as opposed to moving up and playing Boston. You just don't know how teams want to evaluate it, or even if they want to play these games for the most part. So that is always going to be a pretty impactful thing down the stretch. Or our teams trying to manipulate results as best they can to get the seed that they want.
How many times do you think we're going to see the replay of the grimace from Jason Tatum, his first time back in the Garden since the Eastern Conference semis?
Probably quite a bit. Yeah, the return here already since that series. That's such a ridiculous series that they lost that game. Multiple 20-point comebacks. We were talking about that with Zach earlier today. It was insane. But
Zach Cohen, by the way, host of Hardwood Handicappers, JVT, goes on each and every Thursday. Wherever you get your podcast, check it out.
Along with Pod to the Futures and Money Moves, lock it in. But Knicks are up to a 5.5-point favorite is the whole point here. And if we don't get Derek White or others, then we're probably going to get to that 6.5-point range for New York tonight.
We also got some big news today for the 76ers Rockets game later on in the nightcap, didn't we?
Yes. Joel Embiid is out tonight. So if you're wondering why this moved the way that it did, and it's up to 5.5 in favor of Houston, got the news about 15 minutes ago that Joel Embiid has an illness and will not play. Not great for me. I bet the game under the total, and we'll talk about this a little bit later. But with Embiid not out there and Tyrese Maxey in control and going to likely lead the team in usage, this is going to be a team that tries to get up and down the floor quite a bit with Maxey leading the way the entire way. So not great from a total standpoint. We'll see if Houston get this done. Rockets have been playing some pretty good basketball, albeit against some lesser competition, one could argue. But they do come into this thing having won. What are we at right now for the Rockets? I think 7 straight at this point, somewhere in that range. Yeah, 7 straight for Houston. And you talk about motivation. These are both of these teams. Philadelphia, a game back of Toronto for the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference, trying to get out of the play-in. But Houston, more importantly, as their opponent will play later tonight, trying to surpass the Lakers to get home court in the series that seems very likely will be between the two teams.
Which I think then leads us to naturally Lakers Warriors in the nightcap. Golden State a 4.5-point home favorite. Total sitting 225.5 right now.
Don't know if Curry's going to play, and that's the big question. He is questionable. This is the front end of a back-to-back. So they have Sacramento tomorrow. They have the Lakers today. They are locked into the 10 seed, so the Warriors can't do anything. So there's no real motivation to do much in the next 2 games. The question just becomes, when do the Warriors want to play Curry? Do they want to play him tonight, or do they want to play him tomorrow against Sacramento and a lesser opponent? I thought Zach brought a good point on the podcast today, which was with Marcus Smart probably coming back tonight, do you want to put Curry in a position where he's going to be hounded by a better defender, or because, he's working his way back from injury, do you wait until tomorrow and play him against Sacramento? We'll see what the case is, but Steph Curry questionable to play, and that's going to be the big thing, is whether or not he will be out there tonight. And it's hard to act on this now, not knowing what they're going to do with Curry.
I know there's a couple battles of the bottom feeders, and we'll talk more NBA obviously later on in the show, but anything else you want to get out here last minute?
Took a piece of Miami plus 4.5. We're down to 3.5. This is worth mentioning for many different reasons, but the first of which is Miami got embarrassed when they played in Toronto a couple of days ago, to the point where they had the dreaded team meeting and people were yelling at each other and whatnot. But Stormy, that game closed 1.5 in favor of Toronto. And now this is, it actually was as high as 4.5. We're down to 3.5 here at multiple spots, a couple of 4s out there. And rosters are largely the same. Norm Powell is questionable, so we see if he gets out there. But I do believe that Miami is the spot. We've seen these baseball series. A team that didn't cover last time around gets in it. So we'll see if Miami's got a little bit more respect for themselves tonight.
Okay, when we come back here on Money Moves, Connor McDavid went full McJesus yesterday with a 5-point night and caused a major shakeup in the Hart Trophy odds. We'll discuss that and some early conversation around the 14-game NHL slate coming up next here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
It's no secret if you're listening to VSiN, you want free picks. And if you want free picks backed by real analysis, you can get some extra help with Just Win Bets Baby today. Mathematical models and AI-driven best bets across the National Football League when we get back to the season. College hoops, NBA, NHL, UFC, soccer, everything you can think about it, they've got it up there. Plus a live weekend preview each and every Friday as well. Subscribe today on YouTube. You can follow on X and get their free daily best bets newsletter when you head over to justwinbetsbaby.com.
You can get in touch with the show many different ways. At me, JVT, at Storm Bonatoni, at VSiN Live, and at MoneyMoves at VSiN.com is the email as well. Brad checks in, says he totally agreed with Stormy in the no phones. We were discussing the fact that you had to give up your phone out there at Augusta. And who was it that got kicked off the course? The former champ?
I'm so bad at saying his last name. I don't want to embarrass myself again. Calcavecchia? Mark Calcavecchia?
He says, I've been that person at a tournament recording a shot, and I don't think I've ever watched the video. Why did I even take it? And
yeah, that's a great point. It's the same thing at concerts or like all of these things. I feel like that you think that you're going to remember and really want to hang on to forever. And then all you end up getting is you screaming terrible vocals into your phone in videos you never watch ever again. Sure. The one exception to that, I would say, is the Sphere. If anyone hasn't been, or if you have, like those are videos that I know I've gone back and relooked at just because it's so cool in there. But that's, I think, very unique.
I'm a mentally tough person, and so I don't rely on the phone in these situations. I'm very much a live in the moment type person.
Wow.
I get yelled at a lot, actually. Like, why don't you take a picture? Like, why? I'm here. I don't need to do that. So I don't need to be told to not have my phone because I can just sit there with it in my pocket and not be forced to pull it out.
I found a funny quote from Calcavecchia. He was reached out to by Golf Week. And he said, quote, I've got nothing negative to say about Augusta National Golf Club and the Masters, so I think I should literally hang up right now. Mm-hmm. He's talking on the phone again. Gotta get out of here. He won the British Open, played on 4 Ryder Cup teams, won 14 PGA Tour titles, 4 Tour Championship titles, and was a 1988 Masters runner-up. So there are no sacred cows when it comes to Augusta National. If you've got your phone, if you're breaking the rules, that is not good for you. Meanwhile, we've had some other pretty fun shenanigans out there at Augusta to this point. You want to talk about what?
I'm surprised you missed your boy Xander Schauffele with a tee shot that bounced into a patron's bag.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So we've had a lot of nonsense already. We saw Bryson DeChambeau have a lot of trouble getting out of a, what is it called?
You have to call it a bunker.
A bunker. Thank you. Getting
no
out of the
sand
bunker.
Trap.
Yeah. So he had some trouble there as well. I think it was 3 shots it took him to get out of it. So part of the struggles for all these guys so far up to this point. Top of the leaderboard as it stands right now. Still the normal names. Sam Burns, he is done for the day with a 67, 5 under. Kurt Kitayama is tied for second. Along with we have a new challenger appearing. Jason Day has birdied 3 of his last 5 to move up to 3 under through 16. He's with a glut of golfers at the same number. Shane Lowry, Tommy Fleetwood, Patrick Reed. I refuse to call him by the nickname that Matt Eumann says dawned upon him. Rory McIlroy, Aaron Rye, all at 3 under par. Rye is only through 7, so has a lot of opportunity to move upward. Also a lot of opportunity to move downward.
Scotty Scheffler, who of course is your favorite coming into this thing, only through 2 holes, just got started a little bit ago. Parred the first hole of the day, went eagle on 2. So 2 under, tied 9. And as I say that, I see the leaderboard shift to 3 under. So birdie there on 3 as well, it appears.
For who is that?
Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, Scheffler. Yeah, he's 3 under through 3. This guy sucks. Hey, do you know what Matt Eumann calls Patrick Reed?
No, do I want to know?
It's not very nice. He calls him Fat Pat.
Oh, come on. We're body shaming now. It's 2026.
Yeah. I'm not going to say anything. It just seems that those who body shame should not point fingers. You know what they say when they point? You know what they say when you point fingers? So there's 3 points, but again, right back at you. Which I don't point like that. I curve my fingers inward, so technically my fingers are pointing out to the side, not at me.
You do what?
You don't point like that. Yeah, you point
yeah,
like
you
that.
do.
No, I curve my fingers in.
Oh, maybe it's because I have nails. I don't know. Let's get into a little hockey conversation. We'll have plenty more of this throughout the course of the show coming up in the second hour. Excited to have Covers.com betting analyst Josh Ingles dive into some of the games that we have coming up today. We do have an awards market update that is pretty significant, I think. The Hart Trophy seemed like it was very much so a two-horse race for a time, although Nathan MacKinnon was odds-on for a long time in this market as well. Nikita Kucherov has been right there with him. Coin flip in terms of the odds between the two of them. MacKinnon plus 125, Kucherov plus 175. But Connor McDavid was in like the 15, 16 to 1 price range. This morning, you wake up, he's plus 320 on DraftKings after what was a 5-point night. He had a hat trick and was like factoring into all 5 goals that were scored for the Oilers yesterday through 2 periods. And if you remember, one of my best bets yesterday was the over 6.5 in this game. I thought it was easy money because we're like midway through the second period and we've already hit 7 goals with Edmonton up 5-2. Nothing the rest of the way. So what felt like a no sweat easy win ended up being kind of fortunate with the way that this thing played out at the end. That said, I'm very curious to hear Josh's opinion on this a little bit later, how this awards market will play out, because where you have the Avs and the Lightning, who are very well established and have been at the top of the league, the Oilers are fighting for their life out here. And if Connor McDavid continues to put the team on his back the last few games here with the point production he has, JVT, 133 points this season, most in the NHL. He's minus 900 now for the Art Ross, most points in the league, 47 goals, third most in the league. And if he lifts the Oilers to ultimately winning the Pacific Division these next couple games and is an impact player, how that could change things recency bias wise for voters.
Do you know when the votes are due?
I don't know when they're due, but I know the ballots come out in like a couple days.
Okay. Because I'm just curious. I mean, like, you know, when they're due it matters in terms of how many games. We've talked about this a lot. I mean, what was it? Is it most outstanding player? We were talking about something ridiculous where some votes are due.
That's numerous events. But I think you're talking about, was it the national championship?
Yeah, one of where they're due at the end, like the end of the third quarter or something like that. So
I know every bowl game I've ever worked, I've received my ballot midway through the game. You're like, how are you supposed to make these decisions?
So same thing here. If there's a game or two left in a high leverage game at that, and he's got an opportunity.
The Super Bowl's like that.
Yeah. So I wonder when they're due. But either way, I would lean on you a little bit more here when it comes to the Hart and how that's going to go. What about Austin Matthews?
What about Austin?
Do I have a shot?
Shut up.
At 18 to 1.
So
He's got to be in the running.
Leafs. So big game today. The Islanders facing the Leafs. Although I do want to get into the Pacific Division a little bit.
It's a big game because I think you're curious about what the Islanders look like, is it not? Yes. I don't think it's a big game in the sense of this matters in the grand scheme of things.
This is such a softball layup. You are going to, you would imagine, you are going to win this game. You're a minus 270 favorite if you're the Islanders. You had this unique spot in the schedule where, especially, and as we've talked about a lot because of the Olympic break, it's a very condensed schedule this season where they had a 5-day window. So they fire Patrick Waugh, hire Pete DeBoer, get this like mini camp of sorts, mini camp express under Pete DeBoer for the last few days. And then you play a team in Toronto that is absolutely reeling, has nothing to play for right now. They're on the second half of a back-to-back after getting shut out yesterday to the Capitals. They dropped 3 straight, 4 of 5, 7 of the last 10. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to just take the low-hanging fruit and be so obvious and boring and take a puck line on the Islanders because they have been so untrustworthy lately. But that feels like the play in my mind. If you want to get a little plus money on the new coach bump and everything, don't want to lay minus 270. Even if you're looking at a regulation price, it's going to be pretty hefty in this spot. But I find it extremely hard to believe that they don't win this game.
So you're going to play it?
Probably, but it's so boring.
It's not really that boring. I mean, if you win, you win. If you're right, you're right. That's all that matters here. Can they make it in?
That was my opinion. So they're fighting for it.
They got 4 games left. They're 3 points back. The rest of their schedule, home versus Toronto. It's all at home.
I don't think they're going to.
Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, and Carolina.
I don't think they're going to.
And I would assume Carolina, I mean, what do these teams usually do when they have nothing to play for? Carolina going to rest some guys, not going to really care?
They should.
Right.
I think they should. But they are very very close for the last wild card spot. So that's an option for them. In terms of the Metropolitan right now, the Flyers are in that spot and they've kind of cemented that standing a little bit. But if they were to take a step back and the Islanders were to win out and do what they need to do for these next couple of games and see how Pete DeBoer might change the structure of their game, then, I mean, they could still get third in the Metropolitan, hypothetically. I just, I don't know. I mean, I would love to see it. I think that they should. But that is such a battle for that final spot in the Eastern Conference right now. And the Flyers are playing really, really good hockey. I actually think they're being disrespected in the market today. And that's probably going to end up being one of my best bets a little bit later in Detroit against your Red Wings. Hopefully they fall flat once again today.
Down with it. John Rahm not playing very well at the start of this year, Stormy. 2 over and leaves the putt a little short. So he's going to have like a 5-footer, 6-footer for a par, I believe, right here coming up.
Okay. You'll see you're more invested because you actually have a bet on him.
Well, that, and I mean, there was a lot of signs pointing to Rahm like being the guy this week, and there's obviously plenty of time. But as they say, you can't win a tournament on the first day. You certainly can lose it. And there are certainly a couple of guys who are doing just that right now.
You didn't have anything on Oberg, did you? Or is that Kelly yesterday?
I believe that was Kelly. At least it was not me. I can tell you that right now.
Why are you very anti-Ludwig
No, I just
Oberg?
know it wasn't me. I know that he's had his issues in the clutch, we will call it, throughout this season so far. But no, we should note too, a notable birdie. He is through 14. Rory McIlroy has ascended to solo second right now at 4 under, 1 stroke back from Sam Burns, who is done for the day.
Other big games I do want to discuss a little bit later still as well. Wild Stars, we brought it up, but potential playoff game feel to that game later on today. There's another one in the Eastern Conference that could have that same vibe. Should we be targeting unders the 6.5? We'll discuss that and more coming up. So much more to come here on Money Moves, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
We are in the final weeks of both the NBA and NHL. Postseason's almost here, and VSiN right now has the free tools to help you bet smarter. No subscription needed either. When you go to VSiN.com right now, you get our free betting splits from both DraftKings and Circa, plus free MLB and NBA prop projections, all available to you today. No sign-up required. And if you want everything VSiN has to offer on a full-time basis, the daily best bets, AI-powered matchup analysis, 24/7 video show replays, all of that good stuff. Try out VSiN Pro for just $9.99 your first 30 days. You can also save 50% with an annual subscription. Check it all out. You decide for yourself. VSiN.com/subscribe is how you can learn more. Again, that's VSIN.com/subscribe. And as we give you some score updates here around Major League Baseball, worth noting each and every day, Adam Burke does such a great job, as does Greg Peterson, breaking down their favorite plays for the day as we go here. When you look at the scoreboard right now, JVT, we are officially over in that Marlins-Reds game as we near a close. Marlins up 8-1 right now. The Twins, Josh Bell with a solo homer, got them on the board for an early, I guess not too early. They're in the 4th inning right now. 1-0 advantage over Detroit, and still scoreless in the 5th between the A's and Yankees right now. A couple of pretty strong pitching performances on the Yankee side. Weathers gave up 4 hits, 5 strikeouts, though. Obviously, no runs allowed to this point. And on the A's side of it, Springs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, no hits.
Yeah, I got to feel if you're maybe betting this game over between the Athletics and the Yankees, a little burned. They should probably have at least 1 or 2 more runs where we're at right now, which is none. 0 for 4, the two teams combined with runners in scoring position. A's have had 3 cracks at it, and none of them, Soderstrom, Wilson, or Muncy, got to get there. So got to take care of opportunities. Judge went 0 for when he went on the plate. There was a runner in scoring position. Either way, though, low scoring between these two, and I would like Aaron Judge to hit a home run today.
Okay. What was the price?
I don't know. I just need him.
Oh, just for fantasy?
Yeah, that's right. The thing that everybody cares about.
Everybody really cares about other people's fantasy.
This is my goal this year. We
to
will
make
achieve.
People care?
I am big on, I'm a believer that if you set your mind to it, you could achieve it. It's one of my big things. So I'm setting my mind to winning this fantasy league. I'll tell you that much right now. You want a golf update?
Sure.
Okay. John Rahm, Johnny boy. Oh, man.
He'd be struggling.
I think that was about a 5 or 6 foot putt for par, and my dude did not get it. So he is right now 3 over for the day, and it is not going well. Looking pretty defeated after missing that most recent putt. So we will see if he can bounce back. We saw, as we talked about, Shane Lowry bounce back from a pretty rough start to get to 3 under, but Rahm not doing his part. Through 4, Scotty Scheffler, opposite of that, he pars on 4, so he gets out of there 3 under for the tournament so far through 4 holes. And Rory right now on 15. We're trying to see what he can do here at this point, but not a good day for one of the top shots. And your boy, Bryson DeChambeau, here with a birdie opportunity to dig himself out of a little bit of a hole. Xander Schauffele coming off of a bogey and a par. He is on the par 316. So we'll see what he can do here too.
And you mentioned Rory after what was a pretty up and down first 3 holes. He is certainly stabilized here, had 4 birdies since, including on 14. So as you said, we'll see what he does here on 15, but sitting standalone in second behind Sam Burns, who is done for the day at 5 under. As I know we're going to get into some more NBA stuff here, but I did want to ask you, did you see the Harlem Globetrotters thing?
No.
They were hanging out with the Pope.
Okay.
And not apparently, I saw the video of them getting the Pope to spin a basketball for a long time. It was very, very cool. You should look it up. It's super fun.
I don't know if it was real, but I did see the Chicago White Sox Pope hats. Those are pretty good.
Why would those not be real?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't trust anything at all. I mean, I didn't finish reading our buddy's email.
The Bears should do that too if they haven't.
Yeah, I didn't finish reading our buddy's email that sent it to us, moneymoves@vsin.com, because the second part of Brad's email was about the par 3 contest, and he couldn't believe that McAfee, Kevin Hart, and Kelsey jumped into the pond. I believe that was an AI image that wasn't real. So,
correct.
You never know what's real.
What was real though was Tommy Fleetwood's sweet little son not being able to get the ball onto the green for the final hole of the day yesterday, and his little interview afterwards. He was so disappointed, but already looking forward to next year. He ripped that thing though. I know you didn't see it because we were talking about it before we came on the air, but he had 2 opportunities at it and he had the distance. He gripped it and ripped it, but it was just a little bit to the right on both sides, so it ended up going in the water, and his heart was just destroyed after.
I did not see that. I don't really watch the par 3. I think we talked about that yesterday.
Even if you just watch the highlights of it, though, it's fun-loving and sweet and awesome.
That sounds right up your alley and not mine.
I'm very storyline driven. Like I was even talking about with the defending champion and the USA Amateur reigning champion. I love the pairing together and all of that. What can I say? That said, for the NBA, you and I have obviously been following the Charlotte Hornets all season long for a number of reasons. It went from the season win total to then talking about potential playoff bets. They're currently in the 9 seed, so they dropped down following that loss to the Celtics the other day, which they were playing so well until it falls apart. Boston ends up ultimately winning that game by double digits. But looking ahead, they do have a tough remaining schedule to close things out. Friday, they're taking on the top seed in Detroit, just got Cade Cunningham back. And then they close it out at MSG, taking on the Knicks. And where they currently sit right now, obviously you don't want to be in the 9-10 if you can help it. Yeah. So how do you think things shake out? Minus
3,000 to participate in the play-in tournament, the Charlotte Hornets. That's tough. I mean, I want to double dip. I want them to finish in the play-in and then, of course, make it out because we've got these tickets. So that would be very helpful if that was going to be the case. But I do think that we'll stick by the guns, that Charlotte's going to be a dangerous team if they make it into the postseason. Every bit of their net rating, every statistic you would point to would say that this is the case. The problem is they have not lost often down the stretch, but the magnitude of the losses down the stretch have been absolutely brutal for this team. Just go back to about the middle or beginning of March. Your losses, you have suffered, I believe it is 6 losses since the middle of March or since March 6th. Miami, Philadelphia, Boston, and Boston. Those are all teams, those are games that you cannot lose if you're the Charlotte Hornets, and those are the games that they have lost. So now you're staring down the barrel of being a play-in team and needing to win it. But like you said, the important part here is going to be getting out and at the very least finishing with that 8 so you get 2 bites at it if that's going to be the opportunity. Detroit's got nothing to play for. They're locked in. So when you take them on tomorrow, will Cade Cunningham play after he got a double-double in his return from the collapsed lung? We'll see if that's the case. And then on the road against the Knicks, who are probably, I shouldn't say they're going to be locked in. So that might be a game where 2 teams are fighting for seeding in the final contest of a regular season on a Sunday. So they've got their work cut out for them. You can't lose these games. Yeah. And I still believe that they are a team that is going to be one of the more formidable ones should they make it into the playoff tournament. The problem is they got to make it out.
1.5 back of the 6 right now, or 1.5 back of the 6, a game back of the 7, a half game back of the 76ers, who are in the 8 right now. And as we mentioned earlier, no Joel Embiid today. So if you could maybe be productive in these last couple games, obviously that's the goal.
So to the point of Charlotte, though, too. So since January 1st, the flip of the calendar, they are second in non-garbage time net rating. They've outscored opponents by 11.5 points every 100 possessions. Their win differential. So what this is the difference between the number of games a team won and what would be expected based on their efficiency. They're actually dead last over that stretch. They should have about 5.5 more wins to their name at this point right now, but they just don't have them. First in offense, sixth in defense. They check every box. So I don't think any of these teams, Detroit, Boston, I don't think any of them would be particularly comfortable playing them, but Boston, of course, has 2 big wins over them over the last half month.
Yeah, it does feel, though, to an extent, like a team you don't want to face.
Got them at 30-1 to win the East.
Detroit, so with Cade Cunningham now back and looking comfortable in his return, does that make you feel one way or another about Detroit's chances coming into the postseason? They obviously had a season that nobody really expected. They end up having the top seed in the Eastern Conference, but they're 4th on the odds board to win the East.
I mean, it's not, to me, it's not to not answer your question. It's not Detroit for me. I don't know if I want to quit them or not, but it's Philly. I think Philly is one of these really dangerous teams that should they get in, they're going to be a team that you don't want to face when they're fully healthy. The problem is, do you really trust them? Again, today, Joel Embiid with the illness and whether or not he's going to be available. We kind of know what Detroit is at this point to an extent. And I think that they're a very good defensive team, very well coached, but in a best of 7, what is it going to look like when you're getting hyper-focused game plans against an offense that's heavily reliant on Cade Cunningham, I think is a real question. But with the big 3 out there, when we're talking about Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and Paul George, this is a team that I think is going to be really dangerous, and I can't really quit them. I don't know if I want to bet them now, and we were talking about the price, but I just have this sneaking suspicion that you're looking at these guys, and all of a sudden we're in a deep series in the second round, and they're maybe up. I mean, they might be the 6th seed and take on New York, and I don't think New York wants to take on those 3 when they get there.
Do you have a feeling for who you think is going to win it all this year?
Yeah, Denver.
Okay.
I refuse to back off of this. So,
well, you're calling your shot was for them to win the second round matchup with San Antonio.
Oh, I fully believe that they're a legitimate threat to anybody in any walk of life in the NBA.
Okay. Marlins, by the way, we have
Denver, Charlotte finals. How about that? I'm not being serious.
Yeah,
but Denver's going to win.
That's not going to happen, but it would be very cool.
There is a reality. I'm telling you this right now because everybody keeps bitching about these tanking teams. There is a reality in which both the Utah Jazz and the Charlotte Hornets are in their respective conference finals next year. So
okay,
we're in a unique spot for the association coming up in a year.
Like I was saying, though, the Marlins, we've officially gone final. They cash as a minus 130 moneyline favorite, 8-1 over the Reds. That total does go over the 8. Still in action, though. A's, Yankees, Tigers, Twins. We'll update you as we go. Plus, 3 more games still to preview for the day. Got some NFL news today as well that we'll dive into, but obviously keeping you updated on all things Augusta National as well. Stick around, kicking off hour 2 next of Money Moves, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.